Morning, everyone. Sounded like there was a bit of a good night last night, which unfortunately I got in at 11 last night, flying in from Jersey, so kind of gutted to have missed that. As Seb said, I'm from Pinpoint. My name is Dave Edwards. I am product manager. Firstly, I just wanted to give you guys a brief overview of who we are as a company, why we're here, why we're important to Cintra and vice versa. Then I want to just give you a brief overview as to the actual functionality that Pinpoint provides, and then just go into a bit of a deep dive into the actual Cintra integration itself, what it does, and how hopefully it makes your guys' lives a lot easier. So, brief intro to the company. As I said, I'm from Jersey. We were actually founded in Jersey. We've got employees across UK, Europe, and the US. We set up about 5 years ago. We're a bootstrap business, and we've been seeing rapid growth. We've seen 100% year-on-year growth. We're now servicing over 380 clients worldwide. About 55% of those are in the US, with the rest being in UK and Europe predominantly. We actually manage over 600,000 candidate experiences across all of our combined aggregated client career sites. And we support 12 different languages, and our clients are recruiting in over 50 markets currently. So there's ATSs out there. There have been ATSs out there for the last 15 years. What made us come about and think we wanted to start an ATS, and why did our founding team look at this space? We ultimately felt that the recruitment space and the candidate experience was somewhat lacking, and there was a lot of friction, and the experience from both the business user and the candidate experience was suboptimal. I don't know how many of you guys have gone and applied for a job and you've had to log into multiple portals and you've got to keep updating the same information and trying to keep track of logins just so that you can actually get a company to give you an interview. We wanted to change all of that, but we also felt that it was important that the employers themselves actually understood candidate experience and focused on employer branding. It's all about being candid. You don't want the wrong candidates coming to you because you're overselling what your business does or what their wonderful rosy job is going to be. You want it to be warts and all. You want the individual to actually understand your challenge and come on a journey with you and make sure that you're actually hiring the right people at the right time for where your business is. In terms of what makes us different, there's within the market and within our competitor set, you've got, as I said, these large-scale enterprise incumbents. They typically take about 6 to 12 months to actually implement. They end up charging you tens of thousands of dollars for implementation expertise. Then on the other side, you've got going one up from your Excel spreadsheet that I've seen a hell of a lot of clients try to manage their recruitment process in. You've got quick turnkey solutions. It's almost self-serve. You just pay for a subscription there and then. But within about a year, 2 years, when you get to 400, 500 headcount, they're not going to scale with you. We took a complete view, and we had the benefit of only being 5 years old, so we could actually build everything from the ground up on a modern tech stack. So actually listening to Seb's challenges and the changes that Cintra are going through, it's kind of cathartic from a product manager point of view that actually we have also had these challenges, but not having to come from a kind of legacy system. So take my hat off to Cintra for actually making the bold move and investing that much into your architecture. But we ultimately are configurable, scalable, and we can flex with the size of your business. We also want to make sure that the candidate experience is first, but also you as business users are in this platform. We have people in there 4 or 5 hours a day. We don't want it to be some clunky, archaic system. We want it almost to feel like whatever the other web platforms are that you spend your social time in. And we are absolute sticklers for design and user experience. I just want to leave this here. I won't read it out because it's kind of up there. But this is New York Public Library, just giving us a little testimonial. And I think going back to release cycles that Cintra are now looking at going from quarterly to monthly, we're actually, because of the size we're able to ship daily. It causes a huge amount of headaches with my customer success team, who sometimes struggle to actually keep up with the amount of stuff that we're pushing daily. But we'd rather be keeping our customer success people on their toes rather than letting clients down. So in terms of the actual platform itself, there's 3 core pillars. There's attract, hire, and onboard. Attract is ultimately making sure that your job posting in your company is out there in all its glory. The hire piece is actually going through workflows, bringing in the rest of the team, making sure that all of the hiring decision makers are involved as and when they need to be at the right point in time. And then we go on to onboarding. So this is effectively where we sit in terms of overall onboarding as a thing. We are pretty much pre-boarding, and that's just making sure that you've now got your new employees. 30 days before they start, you are collecting additional information. You are able to educate them in your business and your team. So if I just quickly rattle through some of the core features, I'm not going to read kind of endless lists and death by PowerPoint. So career sites that actually work. I don't know how many of you have gone to a career site and it looks like the 80s have called and asked for their website back. We really wanted to make sure that actually you're almost trying to glad hand your potential candidates as much as you would your biggest clients. Your candidates are ultimately, and your employees are what keep your business alive. So why would you not spend as much time and effort on actually designing a candidate experience that sings to that? So as you can see, we work with our clients to build career sites. We do not build bespoke career sites that you then forever and a day need some sort of service level agreement to maintain and manage and host. It's all part of Pinpoint. We then hand over to you, and there's a content management system that is literally drag and drop, and you can go and update, change, and edit any component of your career site. So you've got the candidates coming through to you, and they know that that's inbound, but then how do you go outbound and actually get your job postings out there? Obviously, being an ATS, we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't help you guys actually promote your posts in all the relevant channels where you want. We integrate with over 1,400 job boards. We also provide a bunch of tooling for you guys to go and create QR codes for any offline events, such as where we are today, and you can track all of those into individual events. You can also create additional links if you're doing any email campaigns or any marketing campaigns, so that every single candidate that comes into Pinpoint, you can precisely track where they came from, which we'll then go into in reporting as to why that's useful. Your biggest advocates, hopefully, are your employees, all being well. I'm sure we all have the odd one that isn't overly happy, but on the whole, these people know your business, they know their colleagues, they know exactly where the challenges are, and sure, on the face of it, we can all say we're a great place to work, but let's face it, if we're not challenging ourselves day to day, we're not moving businesses and industries forward. So they will also therefore know, out of their friendship groups and network, who will be up for the challenge and likely be able to put forward some of your longest lasting and best employees. So we've put a lot of time and effort into making sure that we've got the employee referral platform set up. You can create incentives, you can track who is referring who, and you can also manage payouts or whatever incentive you've chosen to use. Whilst it's always nice to think that we don't need help, we do need help, and we need to work closely with external recruiters, especially for more specialist roles. We ourselves are currently working with external recruiters for some highly technical skills that, for love nor money, we cannot get within the UK, and we're having to look further afield. So we use this and we eat our own dog food when it comes to managing external recruiters, bring them into Pinpoint. We can give them access to a department level, a specific location, or just one specific job, and they can go and add new candidates that they think are a great fit for us. They then get automatically tagged through their account, and we can then manage that whole process and see which external recruiters are working the best for us. So, just to take a step back, that's what Pinpoint does in an absolute nutshell for attracting talent. Now, the real business logic and where we spend 80% of our time in the weeds internally and as a product team is looking at how we can better help HR professionals and talent teams go through the hiring process. So I'm just showing you a kind of shopping list of features that we have, but I'm just going to touch on a few. We're really passionate about making sure that companies have fair hiring policies and actually it is the best candidate for the job that is getting hired. Now, I don't think that's a completely unrealistic world. However, us as humans do unfortunately suffer from bias, whether that's conscious or unconscious. So we as a product team are really passionate about trying to make sure we provide the functionality and the tooling to help hiring teams kind of look completely neutral at every single candidate, and every single candidate gets a fair shot. So firstly, we have anonymized screening. And this is an option that a lot of our companies are using, or a lot of our clients. And this basically means you get, it's actually quite a funny story in a way, you get all your candidates coming in and they will be designated a random combination of a colour, a fruit and a vegetable. And that is what your candidate list will look like to start with. The reason I mention that's humorous is in an NPS score that we got back, we had a 0 because we were providing a load of spam candidates. Turns out that this hiring manager hadn't realised that anonymised screening was on, and actually those spam candidates were actually us masking the name of actual candidates. So you've got anonymised screening. This obviously, there's only so long you can keep it anonymised for. Once you get up to interview and an interview is confirmed, then obviously the full details are revealed, but we parse the CV so you can get a summary of their CV, their experience and their skill set. We're also really particular about data, and you'll hear from Rob later, who is kind of one of our HR tech kind of gurus when it actually comes to people data and performance. And from our side, we're looking at how you can get some better leading indicators as to how these employees are going to perform. So scorecards is a huge part of our platform, and it's really trying to start to bring quantitative data out of what is typically a qualitative process. And it also means that everyone in the hiring team is on the same page and using the same framework for scoring candidates like for like. And as I said, we've got a quality monitoring and a quality reporting, so you can keep a track of how you are as a business tracking in terms of diversity. Scheduling interviews. I struggle enough with scheduling one meeting with some of my team sometimes. So imagine the headache when you've got 6 different individuals that need to be part of the interviewing team and a candidate, and you're working across multiple time zones. We've got built-in interview scheduling capabilities that all users of Pinpoint will, when they first sign up, go and actually connect their calendars, and then we can automatically provide interview slots and openings to candidates when you invite them, so that they can see in real time what slots the whole interviewing team can do. We're also bringing in group interviews and assessments just into next quarter, so you can actually now start to do assessment days as well within Pinpoint. Once an interview is confirmed, it goes into everyone's calendar, but most usefully for me, who's normally running in between meetings, within that invite there will be a link that will take me straight to the candidate profile, show me their CV, show me a synopsis of their scorecard, and also show me any other comments of any other previous interviews. Offers. So you've gone through this whole process of interviewing a great candidate. You want to bring them on board. How do you actually get them signed on dotted line? Again, you can do this directly in Pinpoint. You can go and set out the parameters of what that offer is. Obviously, most of those are going to come from the job and the application and the candidate themselves, but it could be something to confirm payment frequency, it could be around bonus, etc. And then all of these get pulled into a templated letter that is completely branded, obviously, to your company. And then you can see the status of an offer, and a candidate can actually sign an e-sign there and then, and that then comes back as a confirmed offer accepted, and that's actually, most of our clients are using this as a legally binding document. We can then start to then use information out of offers further down the line once you start to move on to, from Pinpoint, which I'll go on to when we start to talk more about Cintra. So you've taken them on, they've accepted an offer, great news. Now what? Normally, you're not going to ask someone their bank account details up front in an application question, because that's just a little bit bizarre and would be a little bit off-putting. So we've got an onboarding module within Pinpoint, which allows you pre-start dates to actually go out and create customizable workflows. These could be to do with job, it could be to do with department. And you can effectively go out with questions and answers and information and create a fully branded experience for your candidates to actually start to get a feel for your company, but also start to provide more relevant information that you may need now, such as national insurance number, sort code, bank account, etc. So we can also share documents, and we've got e-signing within onboarding. So you can either bring in DocuSign if you guys are using it, and anyone using DocuSign will know about envelopes, and you may want to send out a package of documents to be signed. Or we've got our own e-signing capabilities built directly into Pinpoint. So this may be NDAs, confidentiality agreements, anything to do with employee handbooks that you've read it and you agree with it, etc. And then that really just collates more data, which you can then start to push through into our integrations. Big thing, mentioned Rob, bit of a fanboy, as you probably gathered. We also love reporting and data, but from our side, it's really looking at efficiencies in the recruitment process, quality monitoring. We're there to make sure that you guys understand your time to hire, your time to fill, what locations may be subpar, what locations are excelling, what positions are exceptionally hard to hire for, or what we're actually seeing more of, where are your internal processes actually slowing this down? We have sign-off workflows where this may need, let's say, an FD and your chief people officer to actually sign off on a job being able to be created. But if those two individuals aren't looking at that sign-off for 6 days, that's 6 days wasted to going to market and potentially getting someone else that has been snapped up. So we've got full insights dashboards that are great for management reports, monthly management reporting, and we've also got a custom report builder that you can then automate scheduled reports. We see these as great things for new hires that may go out to your IT team, and you might send an email with new hires coming up next month, and they can actually see what provisioning needs to be done. So onto the whole reason why we're obviously here is to talk about the Pinpoint and Cintra partnership. So much like Seb said, we also see ourselves as this sort of hub and spoke model. Integrations are crucial to us because we are typically, as an ATS, the first touch point a company will have with a potential employee when it comes to data collection. So we're kind of absolutely at the beginning of this journey of data then pushing into your multitude of platforms going forward. So we've been working with Cintra for a while, and we are looking always for best-in-class integrations. Integrations to us are a blessing and a curse. It's triaging. As a product manager, it's probably the thing that keeps me awake most at night, is making sure that we've got the right sequencing of integrations that we're building. To us, however, Cintra were a no-brainer. They've got huge, brilliant UK presence. They've been talking about their investment, and you'll see some really cool stuff coming up in terms of where they're going as a company. And they align to us in the fact that nicely they've moved away from this quarterly sort of product release cycle into monthly. They're becoming agile. We can work closer and start to bring better value to all of you guys as quickly as we can. Our integration's simple. It's literally you need an API key. And we have an integrations marketplace where we have over 50 native integrations, and you can just go into one of those integrations. You can see here is just a screenshot of what the Cintra integration looks like. Enter your API key, enable it, and then within any candidate at any point in time within our platform, so whether this is post-offer or it's post-onboarding, you can then just go to the quick actions and click Send to Cintra. And just to prove how simple it is, I've got a quick 20 to 30 second demo, which is just me going on a test candidate myself and just filling in a couple of bits of detail. I could have got these from onboarding if I'd actually completed onboarding myself as a test candidate. That's me just attaching some documents that you may want to also send over. And then start date, and then we get down to the magic button that is Send to Cintra, and you'll see down the bottom, candidate successfully sent to Cintra. And that is it. And I think something that we're really looking forward to speaking about in the future is you'll hear from Rob and Jess in a minute, who I'll hand over to, about Cintra HR. We're really keen to look at how you can bring in performance metrics back into hiring and start to look at where your best channels or the best channels for your best candidates are 90 to 120 days post-commencement. So that's it from me. Thank you very much, everyone. And I'm going to hand over to Jess and Rob to talk about Cintra HR.